Hello everyone, I'm LevUNknown.
And I'm Wogglawooh.
And welcome back to the final episode of our playthrough of Mistwinter Bay. It's taken a while, both in hours of videos and months since we started recording the first episode, but now we're finally at the finale, so we have 1 year now before the game ends.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to recap, we aren't really hanging out with characters or marrying them because that's what you should be doing. We're mostly just doing main events, and when randomizing all the options in the events, we have made people get pretty upset with us, so there's not really anyone who actually likes it. Yeah. And we have also built all of the buildings that have characters associated with them. So as we can see here, the only things we have left is to upgrade the wall, upgrade the religious shrine 2 times, and then the keep to a castle. But we have pretty good numbers on the resource front, so you know that you can just use the trade button on the actual menu itself.
People like that.
Yeah, because they feel protected. And we also have high guard presence, so they should be very protected.
Yeah. So we agree this is the best course of action.
Yes, certainly.
Then I'll have to finalize the papers and...
Meow. What is the matter?
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
It sounded like a... meow. There it is again.
I am afraid I do not know what you are referring to, Swordlake.
There's a cat here somewhere. How did that little rascal get in?
A cat, you say? I do not see a cat anywhere.
Me neither, but I heard it twice.
Meow.
It's in your shirt, isn't it?
Please, I cannot bear to let it back outside again. I found it in the garbage outside a building in town, tied up in a bag. Someone clearly tried to get rid of it. Horrible behavior from a human being, if you ask me.
Jack, we can't keep a cat in this state.
Why not? Cats are typically timid creatures. I will try to keep it in my room most of the time so as to not disturb guests. I swear it will cause no harm to anyone. Please, Swordlake, this poor little fellow needs a home where he can feel safe. And keep the rats away.
Well, now there are no more rats. Number 1.
We keep the cat.
Fine, I suppose there's no real harm in keeping the cat.
I knew you would allow it. This is wonderful.
Can I see it?
I am afraid not, at least not at this very moment. It has made itself comfortable and I do not want to disturb it when it has finally calmed down.
Do you have a name for it?
I believe it to be a girl, so I was thinking of naming it Flum.
Flam.
This cat fought hard to stay alive like a dying flame. Change it up a bit and you get Flum.
Sounds like this cat will be a handful.
I would not mind if it turns out that way.
Meow.
I have even prepared a collar for her, just in case. Wow.
You had secretly made up your mind about keeping the cat all along.
No, but I had my hopes up. After all, who can say no to this cute little creature?
Meow.
Wow, Jack got a cat.
Yeah. We got a collectible. So this number will actually go up.
Yeah, for each
with
month.
time.
So if you get that cat early on, it can get pretty old.
Yeah.
What felt like a regular day suddenly feels much less ordinary when you find a note stuck between the cushions on the throne. The note is both obvious and hidden at the same time, depending on which side you're standing on. Curious, you pick up the note. Meet me on the fields north of town for an offer you do not want to miss. Do not bring anyone or tell anyone about this note, or the offer is off the table. Whatever you had expected to read, it wasn't this. You can't decide if you find the message exciting, frightening, or just suspicious. However, it is obvious how you should go about this.
Number 3.
Go alone, but tell Sophia about the note. You're too curious to not meet whoever left the note, but you're not dumb enough to go without telling anyone first.
Sophia, please come here for a moment. I just found a note on the throne asking me to meet someone out on the fields north of town for an offer I don't want to miss. The note said that I shouldn't tell anyone or bring someone with me, but I thought it's safer to tell you anyway. That's definitely the best course of action. But please tell me you aren't actually going to meet whoever left the note. I am. I highly advise against it. It smells like a trap to me. You should be fine. I don't think you will be. You should bring someone with you, just in case. I can't do that. Didn't you hear what I just said? Didn't you hear what I just said? Look, if there really isn't anything dangerous, I'm sure whoever left the note can forgive you for being cautious. But if it's a trap, bringing someone could mean the difference between life and death. You think it's that serious? It very well could be. But you shouldn't worry too much about that offer being cancelled because you brought someone with you. Your backup should stay hidden anyway. That's usually the best way to go about these things. I assume you want to be the backup. I would like to, but I slept weirdly last night and got a nick in my neck. I won't be much use when I'm this stiff. Just bring someone from town you think will be able to fight if it really is a trap. Well, most of them are light, at least.
Yeah, I think we're 16 now.
Number 4. Well, I have a feeling he will be able to protect us. Alright, I will bring Gale as hidden backup. Then you wait here until I brought Gale over. You're not going anywhere alone. I'll wait.
A while later, you're standing on one of the fields north of the town wall. You aren't sure if this is the right field since you haven't seen anyone, but you figure that whoever sent the letter will spot you here eventually. Someone you hope won't get spotted is Gale, who is hidden among the Mistwinter wheat. If Gale gets spotted and there is no danger, the offer will be retracted. If Gale gets spotted and there is danger, you might be in big trouble. Hello there, Swordlake.
I can't recall giving a stranger permission to use my first name.
Is that not the way to treat people who are important to you? If even Averil can be addressed with his first name, there should be no issues addressing someone like you the same way.
Averil only has one name, so if you don't want to call him our master, you don't have much of a choice but to be direct.
Are you here to complain about formalities or listen to my offer?
Say your piece then.
I and my brothers and sisters in faith want you to come with us to a very important place, one that only you can activate.
Activate?
Your blood provides you with the ability to speak there and be listened to. All you have to do is come with us and you will see.
Hang on a moment. Activate your blood, speak and be listened to. You want to take me to the Grand Fray in Freykeep to see if I'm one of the descendants of the first Imperial Royal Family, the one that died out millennia ago, and who were the only ones who could communicate with Averil via the Grand Fray. You're a valorous purist, aren't you?
You say that as if it's a bad thing.
It is!
How is it bad to want to find the offspring of the one family who can keep Ruminus safe? Averil blessed the Von Frey so that only they could speak with him through the Grand Fray. We need a Von Frey in this time. And we are pretty confident that you're one of them.
My lineage leads back to a farmer, not a...
Get Swordlake! Your heart gets stuck in your throat when several people emerge from the wheat. You can't believe you didn't notice them before. Their presence feels all too obvious when they're all sprinting right towards you. But just as you didn't notice the hidden purists, they didn't notice Gale. The woman doesn't have time to react before Gale has brought her to the ground with a very heavy punch. Whilst the woman is groaning in pain, Gale runs to meet the rest of the group. Several punches are thrown around as Gale and the 5 previously hidden purists go at each other.
Help! Someone, guards, help! We're being attacked!
Your heart skips a beat when you hear the sound of stabbing. For a moment, you fear that Gale has fallen victim to the purists since Gale's hands are red. Only when your heart starts beating again and your vision clears up do you understand that Gale pulled a dagger off of someone else and simply counterattacked. It feels like an eternity goes by as you stand there watching and listening as Gale takes out one purist after the other. Using the dagger is the only option since all of them are armed. Oh, my head.
Gale, this woman is back up again. Help!
Wait, what is...
Thank you, you saved my life.
As ordered. That should be all of them, right?
As far as I can tell, yes.
We heard a commotion and the call for help. Is everything alright over here?
It is now, thanks to Gale. Gale saved my life like a true hero.
I only did what I was supposed to do, but I appreciate the praise. Good job, Gale. There's nothing more important than keeping the Sovereign safe. You two should head back to town. We guards will take care of the bodies and start a thorough investigation of what happened.
Thank you, that will be much appreciated.
Sovereign, we have a report on the people who attacked you the other day. As suspected, they were Valerie's purists, terrorists if you ask me. They thought you were a descendant of the Von Freys who had the ability to talk to Avaral through the Grand Frey.
I understand that much. The question is why they decided to go after me specifically and if they might do it again.
We don't really know why they picked you specifically, but considering that they tend to go after all noble families sooner or later, I wouldn't bet on them having any tangible reasons. They were a small, but as far as we can tell, pretty successful group mainly specializing in kidnappings. They seemed to operate alone without any interactions with other purists. In other words, it's unlikely that other purists will come after you to finish the job.
That's a relief.
That's the extent of our investigation. Do you want us to look into it further, or is it good enough?
I doubt that there are more to find. Valerie's purists are either way too secretive or way too open about their beliefs and actions. Regardless, I don't want anything to do with them if it can be avoided.
Then we will leave this issue at that. Wow, aren't we lucky?
Yeah, we is alright. Got the right man for the job.
Yeah. It is the start of the day's audience. The line isn't too long so far, but you figure that the petitions may be more demanding than usual. The look on the first petitioner's face makes you even more certain about that. Sovereign, I have something very important that needs to be brought to your attention. Something that might be urgent.
Alright, give me the details.
There seems to be something wrong with the water in my neighborhood. The fresh water from the well, I mean.
What makes you say that?
It tastes weird, not like water should.
Have you taken a peek down the well to make sure there isn't some sort of cadaver stuck there? A dead rat, maybe a deer?
There are lots of dead rats in this.
Yeah.
I've looked, my neighbors have looked too. There's nothing in the well and everything seems fine with structurally. No leakage or anything like that. The water looks the same as normal, doesn't smell like anything either. But it tastes really odd, like salted wheat.
I'm not going to ask why you know what that tastes like.
I brought a bottle for you if you want to have a sip.
A sovereign shouldn't be doing taste tests like that. Besides, you think it's poison, right?
Yes.
Then you really shouldn't be asking me to drink it.
Sorry. It's fine in small doses, though. Plenty of people have been drinking it since it started tasting like this a few days ago, and no one's gotten sick yet. But I'm afraid that it's only a matter of time before that changes.
What exactly do you want me to do then?
Figure out if it really is poison, of course. If it isn't, we just have to get used to the taste. It's probably something to do with the soil or whatnot. But if it is, we need the water cleansed, and whoever or whatever poisoned it should be brought down.
So the first step is to find out if the water is poisoned.
Yes. I'm sure you have some ideas on how to go about it, more than I do at any rate, so I'll leave choosing a method to you. I'll just save here in case.
Number 1.
Send guards to keep watch at the well.
I'll send some guards to keep watch over the well, day and night. If someone comes by and does something with it, use magic on it or pour in poison, we'll find out.
Thank you, that should make the whole neighborhood more at ease. When will I hear about the result?
I'll order the guards to keep watch until the end of the month. Once they've got a final report, I'll share the results with you. Does that sound good?
That sounds perfect, thank you. I'll let you continue with the audience then. The end of the month has approached and you are awaiting a final report from the guard station at the suspicious well. You don't expect the final report to differ from the smaller ones you've gotten so far. Sorry I'm late, Sovereign. I had to double check the findings with the guys.
Does that mean you found something?
Nope, it has been just as still and boring this week as the previous ones. I just wanted to make sure that they didn't miss a single bit of information. But there really isn't anything. No one sneaking around, no strange contraptions, nothing, just us guards and regular people.
I see, thank you for the report. Can you fetch Gale on your way out?
Of course, Sovereign. You wanted to see me?
Yes, I just received the final report from the guards and figured that you would want to hear it. The guards swear that there's nothing shady going on. If someone is poisoning the well, they would have noticed.
I would like to believe that. But I'm not convinced that we can trust the guards.
Why not?
For one, the water in that well tastes the same as before, like salted weeds. And the same taste is spreading in other wells in lower class areas too.
That is indeed suspicious. But it could just as well be poison as simple as ground... It could just as well be poison as simple as ground contamination, right? Some sort of harmless mineral seeping in through the well's cracks?
I suppose so. It's a more comfortable explanation than poisoning, at least. And if it really is poisoning, I have no idea how to confirm it, let alone cleanse the water.
So you'll put it on the shelf for now?
I don't know what else to do, so yes. I'll try to keep an eye open for suspicious activity, though, when I have time outside of work, I mean.
I don't think either of us can do more than that right now.
I'll get back to work then. Thanks for looking into this. I appreciate it. Well, but it clearly isn't over.
Yeah. Kiddo, you're going to have to stop whatever you're doing right now because we have a very serious issue to deal with.
A lot, and I mean a lot of lower class people have gotten ill. So ill in fact that we have several casualties.
100 and counting, actually. 100 lower class people are dead? Just like that? Wait, lower class? Does this have something to do with the well Gale was talking about?
All wells in the lower class areas, in fact. Even people who were a bit suspicious of the wells like Gale have gotten ill, passed away even. Unfortunately, Gale was found dead at home just before we received these awful reports.
And Celia got happy from that.
Yeah, Zane got upset.
Yeah. So the wells really were poisoned. We failed to get to the bottom of it, so now the people are paying the price. It doesn't have to be that way, though. You think we can find the culprit? The culprit isn't important right now. Saving lives is.
We should provide treatment for all those who have fallen ill from drinking the water. The most ideal way to treat them would be to have someone go from house to house and bring them medicine in bed, although that would of course require someone with high medical knowledge. We cannot risk sending someone who will make things worse.
Which is why you should consider sending everyone to treatment in Forge instead. It will be cumbersome, but at least we know that they're guaranteed proper and efficient treatment there. Forge is kind of known for having good physicians.
However, sending them there would cost a bit. Given that it is an emergency, we will probably get a discount, but the transportation and a base fee for the treatment will add up to 100 gold at least. We implore you to make a decision quickly. Lives are at stake and every minute counts.
Number 1.
Send someone to treat people in their homes.
Well, at least it's not the worst option. We don't have time to waste by sending seriously ill people to Forge. They need to be treated now and they need to be treated at home.
Who do you want to assign to treat them?
But Gale died.
Yes, now we only have 15 people.
Number 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh well.
Maybe she can do it.
Tell Faye to get on it.
Right away.
You'll get a report on how things are going in a few days when Faye has treated everyone.
Is Faye gonna be our MVP? 3 days have passed since you assigned Faye to treat the sick. Faye has requested a meeting with you and is on the way to the throne room right now. I'm here now, Sovereign.
Please tell me that you managed to treat everyone and that there were no more casualties.
I wish that were the case since I did the very best I can, but things haven't turned out well. Most of those who were afflicted have passed away now. I did all I could to save them, but none of the medications or treatment worked. I'm so sorry, Sovereign. I wish I had better news. I should get going now.
So not only will we never find who poisoned the wells, but we lost a big part of the lower claws as well. But I will protect the rest of the lower claws by providing them with water from the estate. They shall never have to fear drinking water ever again. But we lost the best man!
Who saved our lives just a month before!
The only one who mattered!
And you are not biased at all.
No, not at all. Now 3 people are dead.
And all our lowers. Because if we had gotten someone from another class, they would have gotten a different tombstone, but they're all lower class. Well, at least it was a big jump between when the first ones died and the third one. Swordlake, I have a document for you to look at. It is a divorce request for the Willow Ferns.
A divorce request? Is that really something I need to approve? I've never done that before.
Usually these matters can be approved by lower governmental instances, such as myself, but this is a bit more complicated. As per Stranian tradition, the law in Mistwinter Bay states that if any couple with assets over a certain limit desire divorce, they but are unable to settle on their own, it is the sovereign's responsibility to settle for them.
So they can't decide who gets what?
More or less, yes.
Then just make them split it evenly?
That is fairly easy when it comes to material assets, but they have 2 children together as well. Both parents want full custody of both children.
That does make things a bit more complicated. They filed a legal document on the matter, you said.
Yes, here, please read it. Divorce request filed by Marshall M. Willowfern and Belinda J. Willowfern. The party is unable to come to an agreement on how to divide the following. Monetary assets gained from 15 years of marriage reaching a sum of some thousands, land including a patch of forest and a 3-story house in central Mistwinter Bay where the 2 and the children currently reside, and the custody of their 2 children, Jeremy 12 and Ella 7. Both Mr. and Mrs. Willowfern have claimed the full right to the assets as well as full custody of the children. The issue is now handed over to the sovereign as per Mistwinter Bay's law.
There hasn't been any sort of violence in this matter then? Otherwise they wouldn't be able to claim everything for themselves.
All there have been are mutual arguments as well as are expected during divorce. In other words, they both have the right to what they requested. Since there are children involved, I would suggest you talk to both of them, but this is a matter that will take a long time, too long for you to get invested into that degree. So, if you want to ensure that this is solved in the most thorough way, I suggest sending someone with a good diplomatic mind to aid them in solving the issue themselves. You could, of course, handle it yourself right here and now by forcing a decision on them. We have quite a few to choose from, I reckon. That will save everyone time.
Since the children are not at the center of this issue, perhaps I should let them decide. It's important for them to be happy, after all.
That is a novel idea. It has never been tried before, as far as I know, but we could do that if you want to. Those are our 3 main options. Which one do you choose? Just remember that whatever you choose is legally final and cannot be overridden.
Number 1.
Handle it yourself right now.
I might as well solve this situation myself here now. What are my options?
In large, you have 2. Allow their divorce request or reject it. If you reject it, they are legally required to remain married until they can come to an agreement on their own. Should you wish to allow the request, it is up to you to put in the terms of the divorce. That is how they should split their assets as well as who gets to spend time with the children.
That's quite a heavy responsibility.
Not more so than for any other choice you make. What you decide affects the entire town, after all. That is the life of a sovereign.
Do you have some suggestions on how to divide their assets? Should I allow the divorce on my terms?
You could go with the standard of splitting everything in half. The couple gets half of the monetary assets each. After they sell their land and house, they get to have their children every other week, respectively. I do not think anyone would object to that. Or you could follow the thought you had earlier about letting the children decide. You can demand the couple to divide all assets in half. Then the children can decide how and where to live, even if they want to keep living in their current house. Or, should you truly want to, you could make a legal example of them.
Legal example? How?
By splitting all the assets in thirds, the town could get 1/3, the couple 1/3 each. This could serve as a deterrent for those who cannot come to an agreement in a divorce, hopefully avoiding such matters reaching you like this again.
And the children in that case?
1 week with each parent, as is the standard.
I think I get it now.
What will it be then? What should we tell the Willow Fern couple to do?
Number 4.
Remain married, sort it out themselves. So we say, we will solve this now, and then we say no.
Do it yourself. Let's have them sort it out themselves. If we give them time, they'll see that they are both acting selfish and greedy.
I will tell them about your decision as soon as possible. Let's see what they think about that. A few days later, your head is aching from hours of arguments at the back of the court. The Willow Ferns can't stop bickering with each other. You aren't the only one bothered. Jack, as well as all other nobles in court, are fed up with the couple. You don't have to listen closely to their complaints to know that the nobles blame you for the constant fights. You were, after all, the one who forced the Willow Ferns to remain married. I have an update on the Willow Ferns, but as you can probably imagine, it is not going great.
They haven't come to an agreement yet, I imagine.
Unfortunately not. As you can probably imagine, they have a hard time having the civil discussions needed in order to come to a definitive decision.
Won't either of them just give up and compromise?
I am afraid not. They are both dead set on getting everything for themselves. The way it looks now, it could take months before they stop arguing, and coming to a joint decision will take even longer.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
I hate to suggest this, but until they can reach a decision or at least stop arguing.
I get what you mean. No court for them. Guards!
Yes, my liege?
Escort the Willow Ferns back home and tell them they are banned from the throne room until they can stop arguing. If I catch them in here and they argue, I will find them.
Yes, my liege. You watch the Willow Ferns, red from embarrassment, get escorted out of the throne room. As soon as they leave, your aching head gets some rest. And as it does, you figure you should change the law that caused all of this in the first place.
Much better already.
Indeed. Now that we can focus, let us get on with the daily tasks. Well, that didn't go great, but we got a new law at least.
Our first law.
Yeah, noble divorce law revised, since it already existed, but we made a change to it. Should any noble couple with assets exceeding the amount as declared by the old noble divorce law desire divorce and be unable to carry it through on their own, it is no longer the sovereign's responsibility to see the divorce through. Instead, the divorcing couple shall solve the matter on their own or with the help of a financial consultant or legal consultant that the divorcing couple pay for. The sovereign's only responsibility in divorcing matters is to confirm that the finalized divorce as is presented to them by the divorcing couple and their representatives. The sovereign cannot be held accountable for any mistakes or disputes related to the divorce. Yeah, that seems warranted considering what happened.
Saying this is not my problem.
Yeah. Hello, sovereign, remember me? Kimmy, the traveling traveler.
I do remember you, yes, you have a face that's hard to forget.
How many times is that? It's like 4 in total at least.
Yeah.
I have returned from my last travels. I've rested a bunch and I'm now ready to go to a new place. This time I want to go to Ithal. Since it's not too far away, I will only ask for 75 coins.
Let's see. 1.
Whoa!
He gets to go! Wow. I agree to your deal, Kibby.
Thank you, Sovereign. I will depart at once. You can expect me back before the month is over.
Make sure you bring me a rare souvenir as you promised.
You have my word. Let's see if it's more impressive than a regular stick. Almost 2.5 weeks later, you see the doors to the throne room open and a familiar figure of a traveler enters.
You're finally back. How was your trip?
Oh, Sovereign, is there a better place in this world than Ithal?
Excuse me?
Don't get me wrong, Mistwinter Bay is a great place. But to me, Ithal is just in a league of its own.
How so?
It's full of nothing but beautiful women.
And?
That's all the reasoning I need.
Kibby!
Well, there is more I liked about the place. The nature was beautiful and everything just seemed so peaceful. The pastel colors were gorgeous and calming. And don't get me started on the singing. Those were the most wonderful melodies I've heard in my life.
Those are much better arguments.
Although there was a negative that I noticed as well.
Yes.
They don't exactly hide their hatred for Iscorians and magic. I mentioned the magic show to the Semiori and she didn't appreciate it very much.
You spoke to the Semiori?
Yes, I wasn't aware of it at the time, but others informed me of it afterwards. My conversation with her wasn't all bad, however. After my little slip-up about magic, we talked a bunch about alchemy and eventually got to the topic of pastoral cranes and the bird of life. I became very interested in these creatures, and the Semiori was happy to tell me more, especially after I had mentioned your name. I did my research and managed to travel out into the wilderness with some explorers. And look, we found this! Wow, a feather.
Wow.
A rainbow-colored feather.
A feather?
It's not just any feather. This was most likely dropped by a pastoral crane. It's an extremely rare thing I found, since pastoral cranes are supposed to be extinct. It's actually so rare that the other explorers tried to steal it from me and I had to run away. I fled all the way to Meblia and then people there tried to steal it instead.
Sounds like you've been through a lot. But I'm glad you made it back to give it to me.
Give it to you?
It's my souvenir, isn't it?
Right, it's all yours. That's what I intended from the start. Here you go.
Thank you, it's very beautiful with all its colors.
Uh-huh.
What's the matter?
Nothing, I suppose this gives me a reason to return to Ithal. He was not too keen on giving up that feather, huh?
Ran all the way to Meblia.
Yeah.
6 months old.
Yeah, 6 months. Pastoral crane. Who knows if that is a legit item or not.
Yeah.
I believe it is time for these old bones to retire for the night, if that is alright with you, of course.
Of course, I'm about to retire myself. Good night, Jack.
Good night. As the door closes behind Jack, you are all alone in the throne room. Not even a guard is present. This time of night they're stationed outside, since no one is supposed to be here this late. You would have preferred to have gone to bed earlier tonight, like Sophia, who snuck away when you and Jack were busy looking over some important documents. But duty is not to be ignored. With all the work you have with the next harvest, you're usually busy this time of year, even more so now. Recently, rumors about the fabric quivering, whatever that means, has been going around in town. Sophia claims there are no rumors like that anywhere else in Ruminus, so you should relax. Still, it is difficult to put your feet up when some townsfolk whispered that the only thing separating you and the Void is unstable, and only in your town at that. You and Jack have spent the past few hours simultaneously looking over information about the upcoming harvest and perceived revenue, as well as digging through old books in search of reports about the fabric in Mistwinter Bay. So far, you haven't found anything that makes Mistwinter Bay stand out amongst other Australian towns in terms of its connection to the Void. That should be reason enough for you to brush it off and call your subjects paranoid and superstitious, yet you can't. Something is going on, be it the fabric or not. You let out a yawn and shake your head. There's no reason to dwell on the subject this late. Once you get a good night's rest, you can come back to the topic with a clearer mind. Maybe you will come to terms with the fact that it really is humbug. You stand up from the throne and head towards the door that will eventually lead you to your chambers, but as you walk across the empty, echoing throne room, your hair stands on end. Someone is watching you. You swiftly turn around, ready to stare into every dark corner, but freeze in emotion. There's no reason to look for an intruder, since they're already right by you. Well, that's a strange-looking man, huh? Hello there, Swordlake.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
2 questions at once? How greedy of you, Swordlake.
I don't remember giving you permission to call me by my given name. In fact, I don't remember ever seeing you at all. State your business, stranger.
And here I thought you, of all people, would be welcoming. You are ruling Mistwinter Bay just the way I prefer it, so I thought we would be friends right away. Just the way he prefers it, randomly. Although I suppose you have a right to be suspicious, I did show up in here all of a sudden, without an invitation. Now that you think about it, how did the stranger get in? Despite there being no guards in the throne room, there is at least one outside every door. It's difficult even for familiar faces to be let in this time of night. Strangers shouldn't even be able to get close.
How did you get in here?
The stranger simply smiles at you. Even though your logic tells you to be suspicious, you don't really fear him for some reason. I am Levas. Does that ring a bell?
Never heard it before. Maybe give me your family name as well.
Never had one, and if you don't recognize my name now, I doubt the family name would make a difference. It really is quite a bother, being forgotten while one is still alive. Although I can hardly blame anyone for forgetting me, I was not the most famous fellow around even when I was at the peak of fame.
Is any of this supposed to mean anything to me, or are you stroking your ego and pitying yourself at the same time?
That sure is one way to put it. You are a bright one, and fairly amusing too. It is no surprise that you are governing Mistwinter Bay well. I have always thought this was one of the most important places in all of Ruminous. It is a shame that Freykeep is not located here instead. Although that might have brought some troubles on its own, better not put something so powerful as the Grand Frey in a fairly unstable place, correct?
I'm getting pretty fed up with you now. If you don't leave, I'm going to have you thrown out.
I hope not, since I have something important to tell you. It is related to the issue you have discussed with your advisor tonight, about the fabric. You cannot help but feel intrigued and fearful at the same time. It's not impossible that this strange man has something to do with making the fabric unstable.
I'm not sure I want to hear any excuses from you, because so far you haven't made a good impression, and if you are connected to the fabric, I'm fairly sure you're the cause of it quivering, or whatever it was.
Far from it, Swordlake. But go ahead, call the guards and throw me out if you do not want to listen. You can't deny the fact that you're tempted to throw him out. However, hearing what he has to say doesn't seem too bad either. He hasn't harmed you so far and doesn't seem to intend to. But throwing him out might mean you can go to bed earlier. And that's always a valid excuse.
Number one.
Throw him out.
Throw him out.
But since it's purple, it's not actually going to do anything. Your fatigue and annoyance with Leva's wings. You take a deep breath to call for the guards.
Guards! Guards! Get in here immediately!
A moment passes. Then 2, and 3. No guards arrive. You're left staring at Leva's, feeling like a fool. And now you're slightly scared as well.
What have you done to my guards?
Nothing. But no sound will move outside of these walls as long as I am here.
You're a mage then, so you got in here with some sort of magic.
I suppose I am, in a sense. Now you should realize that we can talk undisturbed. Talk I will, and you have no choice but to listen. Hopefully you will even take what I say to heart. Now, on to the crucial topic. Your people are sensing a weakness in the fabric, are they not?
So they say.
They are right. The fabric is weak here in Mistwinter Bay. Always has been, always will be. That is why it is likelier that creatures from the void make their way here rather than to other towns, at least nowadays. Hobbits mages have been enjoying themselves here for the past century. As you have probably heard, most mages, especially those in Ruminous, draw their power from the fabric. Others draw from the fabric and even the void beyond it as well. The more magic is used, the weaker and thinner the fabric becomes. You are probably aware of the consequences that the destruction of the fabric would entail.
Of course I am. Most people call it the end. It's basically the invasion of the void in our world and the destruction of everything we know.
Precisely. The good news is that mages, even in bulk, generally do not cause a big dent in the fabric. Although you should always make sure to not rely on magic to solve all of your problems, for if everyone thought like that, then it would be a serious problem. Yet the problem remains that the fabric is weaker in Mistwinter Bay than most places in Ruminous. This is, no matter the cause, a serious issue. That is why I am here, in order to encourage you to keep your eyes open for any sort of void-related happenings.
You just want me to stay vigilant.
And use as little magic as possible when solving your problems, yes. Not that the magic really matters, as previously mentioned, but habits can go down through generations. I am also here as a messenger for something that may or may not happen. It is unclear as of now. This message is of utmost importance. If you do not heed it, you may end up weakening the fabric even further and put the entire world at risk.
That's quite a lot of pressure you put on only one person.
Do not try to fool me. I know you have great support from people around you. Even if you would not, you are a remarkable individual. Take those words to heart, because I do not call just anyone that. In all seriousness, Swordlake, you must listen to me, or I may even punish you for not doing so, if the situation worsens to the greatest extent, that is. One day in the future, the fabric may grow so weak that it is in need of repairs. Then only one thing may repair it. I have the method and the means to do so. Do you know that what your town is founded on? Your gold.
Mistwinter wheat. It can be harvested twice a year, survives through the cold winters and only grows here.
Precisely. A remarkable plant, is it not? I suppose you are aware of the reasons why it can only grow here. It needs the damp air and seasonal mist to survive, as well as soil that is only present here. Do you know what is special about the soil in Mistwinter Bay? You can't remember anything other than your father once jokingly explaining it as being watered by generations' worth of sweat from your people's hard work on the fields.
No, I don't know.
Good, because if you said you did, I would have to deem you a liar. You see, Mistwinter Bay is located on top of a vein deep in the earth, hardly wider than an arm, and goes all the way into the center of the planet. The vein allows energy to seep up from the center into Mistwinter Bay's soil. It is a sort of magical energy, an energy that is also the real cause of the weakness in the fabric. If the fabric gets much weaker here, the magical energy needs to be filtered to repair the fabric a bit, rather than keep draining it. That is where I come in.
Are you really trying to fool me into believing that you can filter such incredible energy? I've met many charlatans before, and you sound like one just right now.
I understand that. I would like you to believe me, we will get to that later, but even if you do not, my request for you remains the same. If the day would ever come for you or your descendants when the Mistwinter wheat would start singing.
Sing? Are you out of your mind? Wheat can't sing.
It can and it will if it has to. Either way, it is but a side effect of the filtered energy, since the Mistwinter wheat would be used as the filter because of its direct contact with the vein to Sephra. So if you ever hear it sing, do not harm it, or I will have to harm whoever harms it. The best course of action for you and your people would be to simply listen, and I will sort things out. If you truly cannot sit idly by, then what you can do is to protect the Mistwinter wheat from external forces, be it creatures from the void or simply curious birds and bugs, it matters not, although I sincerely suggest you do nothing at all. This information is of utmost importance. I do not wish to harm you or your people if it can be avoided. A single one here and there is one thing, but I do not want to destroy this town. Have I made myself clear, Swordlake?
Quite so, but please don't call me Swordlake when I don't know you.
But now it is as if we are the best of friends, is it not? I jest, of course. Sovereign or even Empress matters not. Humans are not meant to be my friends, not in this dimension at least. Not that you should concern your poor head about that. I still have to prove to you that I am telling the truth, correct?
You certainly do.
There is no way for me to prove that the Mistwinter wheat will sing, since I do not even know if or when it will happen. It may not even be during your lifetime. However, I can give you proof of my honest words and a demonstration of my powers with a little accident. How about I fell a tree or split a rock into 1,000 pieces? Some people would naturally dislike that, since it would mean I put someone at the center of the accident. But that will be all well and fine. I would only do it to someone who is about to go meet Avi anyway. Although, if you believe me already, a proof of my word is unnecessary and no one would have to get upset. You don't like the sound of Levas casually killing one of your subjects for a demonstration, yet you aren't even sure if he can do it. As far as you know, he's been lying to your face the entire time. It seems like he is truthful though, so perhaps you should avoid the risks and take him for his word instead.
Number 2.
Split a rock. We could use some stone.
Can you truly split a rock then? If so, show me.
Even if it means killing one of your people in the process?
You said it would be someone who's going to die soon anyway, right? As far as it seems, you're not out to harm Mistwinter Bay's people for no reason, so I'll take your word for it. That is, if you actually prove you have that type of power and haven't been pulling my leg all this time.
I am as honest as they come. While talking to you now, I have not told a single untruth. You can expect a proof of my powers tomorrow morning. I will make sure to leave a message addressed to you as well. I take it that all is done and sorted then.
It appears so.
Then I will bid you my farewell, Swordlake. If we meet again, it will be when the winter mist wheat sinks. For both our sakes, let us hope that will not come to pass during your lifetime.
Probably won't.
I mean, that depends. And if it does not, I would like you to pass this information on to your successor, be it your child or someone else, because it is more a matter of when, not if in this case.
That seems a bit odd. This isn't generally the sort of thing that gets passed down through generations.
Some families have their prophecies and curses. This may be one of yours. Besides, you have already stated your source of trust in me, so I will assure you that you will do this if need be. I will assume you will do.
Yeah.
This Swordlake is our parting for now. Take care of yourself and Mistwinter Bay. I wish to see the town prosper further. Well, that seems a bit special, huh? Before you have time to process his words, Levas disappears in an odd golden light. When the light settles, you find yourself once again left alone in the throne room. The eerie silence makes you wonder if it was a dream all along. I guess we'll see. The morning after your encounter with Levas, you tell Jack about the experience. I see. Most peculiar indeed.
You don't happen to know anything about these Levas, do you?
I am afraid not. A family name might have made things easier, but like he said, it would probably not make that big of a difference in the long run. If you ask me, I do not think you dealt with a human mage of some sort. Either it was a hallucination, a dream, or you were dealing with some sort of magical creature.
You look more human than most magical creatures.
Is that so? Then perhaps I am wrong. However, keep in mind that there are many things in this world that neither you and I know about. That's weird. Our world is large and many things lay beyond the borders of luminous that we have never even heard about. Not that I think these Levas comes from far away. The most reasonable answer is that you were simply dreaming. You were exhausted last night, after all. It all being a dream would make me much less anxious as well. I do not like waiting for the wheat to sing. Just as you are about to answer, the main doors swing open and Sophia rushes in after a daily gathering of local information.
We have a problem, kiddo. A pretty serious one at that. The corpse of an old man was found this morning. He had been hit by half a boulder that someone split in half and rolled down a hill.
Somehow.
The stone from the boulder will be taken care of course. Even during an accident, we can't let the resources go to waste. The people are pretty upset since he was a well-known tradesman, and your name being written on the ground next to him makes some people think you had something to do with it. It wouldn't make sense for anyone to try to expose you like that, so we can wave off the accusations fairly easily, but still, this is serious.
You feel your heart drop. A glance at the pale Jack tells you he's equally uncomfortable.
What? Why do you look like that? I know who did it, and I sort of told him to. You told some guy to murder a well-liked man? Shh, that's so loud, don't let the guards hear. I didn't tell anyone to murder anyone, I'll tell to you later. First, I want to know if either of you know someone called Avi. Levas mentioned someone by the name Abby, and I think he was going to kill someone who would go to meet him soon anyway. Neither Abby nor Levas sounds familiar.
Wait a minute. Given the context of meeting this Avi and the nickname's similarity to... It cannot be anyone but... our Master Averol himself!
You completely lost it, old man. Are you really saying Swordlake spoke to some guy who knows Averol?
I fear that is the truth. If it is of utmost importance to heed his words. If the winter mist wheat ever sings, we know what to do.
Yep, you're officially crazy. Averol and singing wheat. Can you believe this, kiddo? Actually, I can. I'm not sure about the Averol thing, but the wheat I'm convinced about now. Sit back, Sophia, and I'll tell you all about it.
Well, that was an interesting encounter.
Yeah?
Yeah, considering how few months are left, it's not a very...
yeah, it would have to be the next long event.
Yeah, it's not very likely for us to have singing wheat. It's raining. We have everything except the upgraded buildings.
No one in prison.
And it costs a lot of stone. Wow, we have the castle now. We can have so many prisoners. We don't have a single prisoner, do we? No.
No. Now the background changed again.
Yeah. Got the fanciest throne room.
Now the dialogue box is different.
Yeah. You have a hard time keeping your eyes open when you're this bored. You have been reading documents and letters all day and you're still nowhere close to being done. If you keep going like this, the work you actually do get done might be worse than it should. Then again, taking a break means that you can procrastinate, which isn't good either. This dilemma has kept your thoughts occupied for the past 15 minutes, so it's about time you decide how to move along.
Number 1.
Take a break and go for a walk. There's no reason to keep going when no actual progress is being made. You prefer a 30-minute walk to clear your head than 2 hours of fixing your mistakes tomorrow. You put all of the documents and letters away and head out. Going for a walk feels like the best decision you've made in a long time. Your head feels much more clear already and you've barely gotten outside the town wall. You stop, take a deep breath and enjoy the scenery. These are the days when you truly appreciate the place you live in. Few regions in Ruinous beat Mistwinter Bay on a sunny day, but you aren't able to relax as well as you hoped. You can't put your finger on it, but there's something in the air. Still, you're completely alone, with no person or building in sight. Just as you are about to call yourself paranoid, there's a quiver in the air. The feeling of something being off grows stronger. Just an FYI, this has nothing to do with the event we had before this. Yeah. It's just a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
You can barely believe your eyes when the air gets torn apart right in front of you. It only takes a second for you to realize that it's a rift. Your head tells you to run away, but your legs refuse to move. You have no choice but to stay and watch as whatever creature it is emerges from the void. Whatever you expected to pop out of the void, it wasn't the red door in the stone archway that stands before you. All fear immediately leaves your body. Thanks to Lady Rowena Talonborn's book that we got ages ago, you're well aware of what this being is. Before you is the Red Mystic, the only creature from the void that is harmless. Since it has appeared before you, not anyone else, it's clear that it wants to interact with you. It will offer you knowledge that no mortal would have access to. You can't ask it for any specific knowledge, only accept what it offers you. Each piece of knowledge costs 5 coins that you have to pay before receiving anything. You can pay as many times as you want or can afford. If you run out of coins or don't want to learn anything, the Red Mystic will leave. With this information, you feel prepared to face this creature. You knock on the door with a firm hand. The door immediately slides open and remains ajar. A swirling darkness, not too different from the rift it appeared in, peeks out between the archway and door. Swordlake Entertainment, sovereign of Mistwinter Bay, the one knows that thou art aware of one's nature. A voice echoes from the door. It sounds like 1,000,000 voices in one.
That's right,
you say. One will present thou the topics one has an interest in. Thine is the responsibility to choose a topic in exchange for 5 round shiny objects, the Red Mystic says. Thou can receive knowledge on the skills of your people. Thou may gain knowledge on religious deeds. Thou might receive knowledge on deeds magical or alchemical. Or thou might receive knowledge on thy moral actions. The choice of topic is thine, mortal. Thou might change topic or return to a topic at a later point. One does not mind repeating information for repeated payments.
This will just be a game of how long it will take before we get to leave.
Well, obviously we wouldn't do the same things over and over again.
Number 1.
Skills.
I would like to learn about the skills of my people, please.
You say. You put out your hand with 5 coins. The coins disappear into thin air. Thine is the choice to maketh regarding the type of skill thou wouldst like to learn of. One shall then present thee with the one among thine subjects who is the most proficient with that skill, and how that individual's skill can be measured on a human scale. There are many skills that mortals rely on. One has divided them into subcategories. Thou may gain knowledge on a physical skill, a knowledge-based skill, or a social skill. The choice is thine.
Number 3.
A social skill.
I would like to learn about a social skill.
You say. Thou may choose between the following skills: charm, diplomacy, religion.
Number 3.
Religion.
Please tell me about my subject's religious skills.
You say. One will inform thou that religious skills can be interpreted as knowledge-based. It is a definition that splits the mortal population. Thus one has decided to place it in this category so that all skill categories have 3 skills each. One is nothing but symmetrical in nature, the Red Mystic says. Thou hast Ulysses, whom mortals would consider exceptional at gathering and retaining knowledge related to religion and sharing it with their fellow citizens. That is all one would say on that topic. Please choose another.
Will we get out of here?
I mean, we can just go and do one of each and then randomize in the subcategories.
I guess.
Otherwise, we could be here all day.
I would like to learn about religious deeds, please.
You say. You put out your hand with 5 coins. The coins disappear in thin air. In this topic, one will share how many of thine actions have garnered respect from either of the 2 major religious factions that make up the continent of Ruminus. The choice of which religion you want to know about is thine to make, the Red Mystic says.
Number 2.
Voidism.
Please tell me about how many acts I have committed to impress voidists.
You say. Thou hast committed 2 acts that have impressed or garnered the attention of those who follow the religion known as Voidism. That is all one will say on that topic. Please choose another. Magical or chemical deeds?
I would like to learn about magical alchemy, please.
You say. You put out your hand with 5 coins. The coins disappear in thin air. One does not impart magical or alchemical secrets at this time. One is only prepared to recount the times thou has used either method. Tell one which method one shall recount, the Red Mystic says. You feel like you got tricked, but you have already paid, so you might as well pick something.
Number 2.
Alchemy.
Please tell me how many times I've used alchemy.
You say. Thou hast encouraged thine subjects to use alchemy 2 times. That is all one will say on that topic. Please choose another.
I would like to learn about my moral deeds, please.
You say. You put out your hand with 5 coins. The coins disappear in thin air. Thou be free to state which knowledge thine curiosity yearns for. One is prepared to impart knowledge on good or bad deeds, the Red Mystic says.
1. I want to know the bad deeds
Yeah,
too, though. Please tell me about my good deeds.
One bases these words on thine culture, for one does not have a moral compass. Thine people would say that thou hast committed a few good deeds. They appreciate it. That is all one will say on that topic. We can just do the bad ones,
Yeah.
The bad deeds.
Please tell me about my bad deeds.
One bases these words on thine culture, for one does not have a moral compass. Thine people have said that thou hast committed no bad deeds.
No
They
bad
find you
deeds!
an excellent ruler for that.
We have only done bad things!
Well, we've also just kind of been unlucky. We haven't... Oh, I guess a few times we've done some bad things.
Thank you for your time and this generous blessing of knowledge, but I believe this is enough for me.
You say. So be it, the Red Mystic says. You barely have time to blink before a rift appears out of nowhere and swallows the entire door and archway in one go. The rift disappears just as quickly as it arrived. You take a few moments to compose yourself before turning around and walking back towards the estate. Oh, there you are, Swordlake. Did you go for a walk, like you told the guards?
I did, and it was probably the weirdest walk I've ever been on. Saw someone naked. That would have been less surprising, but more uncomfortable.
What happened?
I met the Red Mystic. The thing from the void. Yes. Haha, good one, kiddo.
Oh, I did not take you for such a jokester, Swordlake.
I'm not joking, I really meant it. Tell the one about the Pegasus too while you're at it.
I was dreamt that I met the Red Mystic. It was quite polite, yet greedy and a bit sneaky.
That's exactly what it was like. That's a classic tale of a liar, just repeating what someone else says. I'm not lying or joking.
This was quite an amusing joke, Swordlake, but I'm afraid that Sophia and I have quite a lot of work to get through. A certain someone decided to abandon their responsibilities and go for a walk instead.
I'm telling the truth.
You sulk for a while before shaking off their negative feelings. It doesn't matter if no one will ever believe you. You know what you saw and heard, and you're more enlightened for it.
Yeah, apparently we're really good people.
That will give us another point for supporting voidists.
Huh. Can we do it again?
Wow! Now we've built and upgraded everything.
Yeah. Impressive.
Yeah. We've also killed 3 people.
Now we kind of broke, so hopefully nothing needs any resources.
Yeah.
Kiddo, we went to check on the construction of the new residential area in the southern part of town. You can consider it perfect timing, because just before we arrived, they had made a pretty impressive discovery.
Impressive, yes, but also potentially dangerous.
Go on then, tell me. While digging a foundation, the workers stumbled upon a staircase leading deep into the ground. Jack and I saw it with our own eyes.
As the curious woman she is, Sophia even ventured down a bit, confirming what the workers had told us about the expansive network of tunnels that lead us to it.
They're very old. I mean, very old. We have definitely only scratched the surface of those tunnels. Who knows what secrets, or even treasures, they're hiding.
While I agree that tunnels are very interesting for many reasons, let us not get ahead of ourselves. This is a wide network of tunnels running right beneath the town that is a massive safety hazard. By opening the staircase, we may have disrupted the airflow that kept the entire system stable for ever knows how long. If we do not close off the opening as best as we can, the tunnels might collapse and bring parts of the town with it.
When did you become a construction expert?
You were down there yourself. You know far better than I what sort of state the tunnels were in.
I will admit they looked very unstable. But with enough caution, I'm sure we can bring someone down there. As long as they don't go hammering the walls for no reason, it should be fine.
Or they might collapse without us doing anything at all, so I suggest that we simply board up the entrance and leave it be.
We can argue about this all day, so it's best to let the one with the actual power make a decision. I kind of want to make the executive decision to send people down there and then just randomize who it is. Dangerous as it may be, it would be a shame to leave such old ruins unexplored. Who knows what we may uncover about Mistwinter Bay's history. That's the spirit, kiddo. Let's go exploring.
Neither of you will head down there. I forbid it.
Relax, old man. I may want those ruins explored, but I'm not dumb enough to risk a sovereign's life down there. Or my own, for that matter.
Even so, this is a very risky endeavor. It should not be taken lightly.
Which is why I have a few suggestions for how to go about it. First of all, whoever goes down there needs to prepare properly, so it won't be an afternoon excursion. They'll head off next month at the earliest. Secondly, depending on how many go down there, it's best to use a different approach to the mapping of the tunnels. If we only want one person down there, it would be suicide to make them go as deep as possible. Instead, they should focus on mapping out the general layout and the stability of the tunnels, so that other people may come back to explore properly in the future. Oh, of course, that person needs to be a good scout. We don't want them to get lost. But if we send an entire team of explorers down there, they can help each other and go even further into the tunnels, maybe even map the entire place. These types of explorations usually need 4 people. A scout to lead the way, a fighter to take care of any potential threats, a medic to treat any injuries, and a scholarly person who can study the historical and potentially magical aspects of the ruins.
A D&D party.
Yeah. But let's not pretend like sending a group of people deep into an ancient unexplored ruin is completely safe even with a full team. We could lose people along the way. We have another option as well, now that I think about it. Since we have quite a few guards, it's possible to send some of them down there. They can even spread out and cover a lot of ground quickly if we want them to.
Such large numbers may put a lot of strain on the tunnels.
There's always a risk, but every option is a bit risky in this case. What do you think, kiddo? Which approach is the best one in your opinion? I want to send a D&D team. I want the ruins as properly explored as possible at the soonest convenience. And if a team of explorers can achieve that, I say we should go for it. Let's start dealing out roles, starting with the most important one. the scout.
How many people do we have? 15?
Yeah. Number 5.
Kieran.
Kieran will be the scout. And who do you have in mind for the fighter who's supposed to protect everyone?
We don't have a lot of options.
Oh god. This is why we need game. Number 6. Actually, I think it was 5.
I do
first.
think it was 5 too. I think you clicked
Yeah.
and then it just picked the same one again, so I do think it's
I want Lynx as the fighter. Then we have the medic who's supposed to treat any and all potential injuries. Do you know who's someone who fit that role, kiddo? 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, Zane will act as the medic. Then we only have one role left. The scholar who's supposed to decipher anything they find down there. Number 15. Moira. Our favorite person. Moira is the most appropriate scholar.
I would not agree with that.
Alright, then we have assigned all the roles we can assign. Jack and I will talk to everyone involved and make sure that they are prepared for an adventure next month. Right, Jack?
I will do my all to make them as prepared as possible. I do not want anyone to perish down there.
Then it should all be settled. I look forward to hearing about the adventure next month. Me too.
Well, I mean, they have good odds of making it for past the first 2 hurdles with a scout and a good fighter. Sovereign, the team and I are ready to head down into the tunnels and explore the underground ruins. We have enough provisions to last a week and we are appropriately armed as well.
Then everything is as we agreed. Good luck down there. I expect to hear good, maybe even revolutionary news soon.
Thank you, we will do our best down there. A while later, the team of explorers leave the light of day behind and enter the darkness of the ancient tunnels stretching out like a spiderweb under Mistwinter Bay. Guided by the light of candles in glass lanterns, they walk through countless long stone hallways. The tunnels look both ancient and unstable, but they quickly realize that the structure won't collapse on them, not anytime soon at least. Something that they do realize will affect them most immediately is the disorienting layout of the many tunnels. It takes several hours before they have made it far enough into the tunnel network to even spot a staircase leading even deeper. Once they head down, there are even more tunnels in a somehow even more confusing layout. Thankfully, Kieran, the only one whose responsibility it is to actually keep track of where they are, know exactly where they have been and where they are going. The rest of the team follows Kieran blindly, spurred by Kieran's confidence. Zane does so, literally.
Yeah.
That trust is proven worthwhile when they finally leave the maze of tunnels behind them in favor of one much larger tunnel, more akin to a grand hallway leading to a throne room than a subterranean road network. The walls and ceilings are damp, with the floor covered in water that reach up to the ankles. Each step makes a lot more noise than before, making the explorers on edge and highly aware of their surroundings. As the tunnel begins sloping down, Kieran suggested Lynx takes the lead for a while. Since the tunnel is simply going straight, Lynx walks quite a bit ahead of the others, acting as a scout and bodyguard at the same time. That's a perfect job for her, though.
Yeah.
That position makes Lynx a prime target for the creature that jumps out of a hole in the wall.
My god.
Oh my god, toad creature. A strange sound very similar to the ribbit of a frog echoes between the walls of the tunnel as a large amphibian monster throws itself at Lynx. Lynx and the rest of the team freeze when they spot the creature, unsure if they should believe their eyes or not. After all, a creature like this has never been documented in any publicly known works or even mentioned through word of mouth. It isn't until the frog monster bares its fangs, dripping some sort of poisonous liquid onto the floor, that Lynx raises the weapon, ready to fight back. The monster gives off another croak before jumping towards Lynx, ready to put its fangs through Lynx's neck. Lynx hits the monster's mouth with full force. The metallic sound of the sword against the hard teeth reveals the monster's fangs are made of sturdier material than regular appendices. Even though the teeth don't break, the force of the hit is enough to push the creature away from Lynx, groaning in pain. But the pain only makes the monster more adamant to tear Lynx to shreds. The rest of the team look on in horror and awe as Lynx keeps pushing the monster back with strong hit after strong hit. All the hits are slowly draining Lynx's energy, whilst the monster seems as energetic as before. When the frog makes an extra powerful leap towards Lynx, the entire team realizes that this has to be the final strike. Lynx angles the weapon at the monster's stomach and swings at the same time as the monster opens its jaws, heading for Lynx's neck. Both attacks hit at the same time. A loud thud echoes as the frog lets go of Lynx and falls to the floor dead. The very next second, Lynx also hits the floor, gasping for air, pale from blood loss and a poison running rampant. If Lynx is going to make it, help is needed in the next few minutes. Very effective help with that. Kieran gives Zane a meaning look. Zane shakes off the shock and hurries over to Lynx with all of the necessary equipment to treat the injury. Antiseptics, salves, general antitoxin bandages and a needle and thread to close up any big wounds. Zane immediately puts a clean rag with antiseptics against the wounds, putting enough pressure on Lynx's neck to stop the bleeding. Zane helps Lynx consume the antitoxin without removing any pressure from the rag. Once Lynx has swallowed everything and Zane can confirm by the sparkle in Lynx's eyes that it's working, Zane readies some salves. With only slight difficulty, Zane removes the rag and quickly puts healing salves on the wound. Then, equally fast, Zane wraps bandages around Lynx hard enough to stop the bleeding. Zane sits back a bit, breathing a sigh of relief as Lynx's breathing improves. "Is it done now?" Kieran asks. Zane nods. Kieran continues. "What about the needle and thread? Aren't you going to stitch up the wounds?" "They weren't deep enough. Besides, any sharp object so close to the carotid artery is a very bad idea, so we don't want to take any risks. The pressure from the bandages will be enough," Zane says.
Also,
it's very impressive that he does this.
You don't want a blind man to stitch up your neck.
Yeah. Zane's confident tone and the fact that Lynx sits up with surprising vigor is enough to convince Kieran that things are okay. Still, Kieran orders the group to rest for several hours so that Lynx can regain enough strength. It isn't until Lynx ushers the group to continue that they leave the tunnel with the dead frog monster behind them. They continue deeper through the path that curves downwards like a long spiraling snake. After the first attack, they're prepared for more ambushes, but after several hours of walking, they start to believe that they are alone down there, at least in that area. The already great tunnel gets even bigger as they approach the massive doors. Shivers run down their spines as they see the symbol of a rose on the middle of the door. Next to the rose is a symbol that resembles a star, a symbol that has nothing to do with the common Valrys imagery. After some discussions, the team agrees to open the door. Everyone puts their shoulders to it and push. A lot of effort is needed, but eventually the door slowly starts sliding open, revealing an impressive room inside. That looks kind of familiar. Standing on the threshold, the team looks into the massive chamber that lies in the heart of the underground ruins. The room stretches out for what feels like miles in every direction. The ceiling is so tall that it's easy to imagine it having its own starry sky. With the ceiling being so far away, it's impossible to tell if it is decorated. Walls and floors are, however, patterned with the same type of roses and star-like symbols that were on the door. In the middle of the otherwise empty chamber is the grand altar covered in gifts long since disintegrated. The same imagery as is present in the rest of the room is represented on the altar as well. Everyone turns to Moira. Moira stands up tall and takes a closer look at the room, still standing on the threshold.
This is like when you lie on your resume. You get the job anyway.
"You stay here. I will go to the altar alone," Moira says. Lynx asks why. "Because it is safer that way. There may be monsters, traps, or who knows what hiding in there. If nothing else, any potential artifacts will have a smaller risk of getting hurt if only I enter," Moira says. The others have nothing to put up against that argument, so Moira enters the room alone. Soon as Moira puts a foot down on the tile bearing the star pattern, only a few inches from the door, a strange clicking sound can be heard. The sound makes Kieran react with lightning-fast reflexes. Moira gets pulled back and the entire team gets pushed down on the floor. A split second later, an explosion rocks the ancient temple, bringing down stones and rocks from the ceiling. The team lies completely still right outside of the door until the shaking has stopped. When they finally look up, they're met with a blockade of stone covering the interior of the chamber. The secrets of the temple will never be uncovered now. Well, I think Kieran was probably a very good leader for this team in general.
I see, so that was the source of the shaking that the entire town felt.
"I apologize for triggering the trap. I should have been more careful."
It's okay. The main part is that you're all alive. Thanks to Kieran, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Thank you, Kieran. You're a hero.
Thank you, Sovereign, although I only did what I had to do. If not, we would have all died.
I kinda expected them all to die there. At the
Yeah,
end.
I mean, Zane was lucky that he managed to do that.
Which is why you're a hero.
May I ask what will happen to the tunnels now that the temple is ruined?
I don't see much of a point in leaving them open. They're far too dangerous, with too little to give as compensation. I will order the entrance to be boarded up, then it will all be covered with dirt, just as we found it.
That sounds like a good idea. If the dirt is put back, the tunnels will hopefully become completely stable as well.
That's my hope as well. With that, I believe we have chatted for long enough. You should all go home and rest. You have earned it.
Then we will do that. Goodbye, Sovereign. Well, that was not a disaster. No one died.
Yeah.
And that's pretty impressive, all things considered. Yeah, so that was our final long event. Now we're on to Midwinter.
Only 2 events left.
And I suspect what this is going to be. No, this was not what I suspected. The throne room is completely calm and empty, exactly how you want it to be when you're trying to solve difficult math puzzles. No one's forcing you to do it, but you figure that you might as well get one step ahead of everyone else if you try to develop your advanced mathematical thinking skills. You write down the first part of a solution to the problem you're solving when suddenly you get a feeling that something is watching you. But when you look around, the throne room still appears to be empty.
Someone's always watching us in here.
The uneasy feeling grows stronger as an eerie cold seeps through your clothes. To make matters worse, it looks like the air in front of you is quivering. Suddenly, the air is torn apart. Wait, but they said we had no...
Yeah. Is it a death thing?
Yeah,
3 people have
it
died.
has to be, and then we have executed at least one person.
Yeah.
So it's just strange that it happened this late. Suddenly, the air is torn apart as a rift opens, revealing the swirling darkness of the void. You spot something tall with long, thin limbs approaching from the other side of the rift, from inside the void. Something akin to slender fingers emerge alongside dark, cold mist. Wow, what a creature. And yeah, not a lot of people have encountered this one.
Yeah.
You can see on the Steam stats, on the achievements there. You don't have time to think, let alone run away before the creature that opened the rift stands in front of you.
What in the world are you? Help me! Someone help me!
No here, Mistwinter sound.
You talk? What are you doing here? Are you going to kill me?
No kill. The rake suffer and soul. You make death like death.
You want me to die?
No. Want other death, you make death. Like death, more death. The rake, you payment, you make death.
It sounds like you've seen people die under my watch and want to pay me to have more people die, is that right?
Yes.
Why would I make a deal with something from the void? For all I know, you could be roping me into a deal that ties my soul to the void forever.
Wise. The rake only rake offered soul. You no offer soul. The rake no rake. Like other death here. You make death. The rake no make suffer.
Let me try to unravel this. You're saying that you won't take my soul unless I offer it to you. You also prefer that I stay here and kill people since you can't kill anyone unless their soul has been offered to you somehow. Is that it?
Yes.
So there really are no strings attached? I'm only reaping benefits from this deal?
The rake like death, you like death. Good deal only.
And me just offering someone as a soul to you is enough? I have the authority to do that?
You master, your word decide.
Alright then. I won't promise that I'll agree to anything, but I will at least listen to what you have to offer.
The rake offer reward. 3 to choose, 1 per rake.
I see. You want a maximum of 3 souls, and each would be linked to a unique reward.
Make other very skilled. So many skills do anything.
Yeah, it works very well. I'll try that. Erben only run. So you can make someone do a lot more You can make someone a lot more competent at basically everything. Who would be able to receive a blessing like that? Not me, I presume.
No, you. Only working for you.
I see. And the second possible reward?
Powerful person. Devoted. Rule. No hate.
You're saying that you can make a foreign leader devoted to me as long as they don't hate me.
Final reward. Income in month. More. Much more.
For me or the town?
Both.
How much more are we talking?
×2.
That is indeed a lot more.
You offer other soul, Drake give reward. I guess we'll see. And also, we killed like one character deliberately, which was Boreas, as far as I can remember.
2. Declared.
And all the others have died on accident.
I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in killing one of my people like that. The rewards may be enticing, but it's not worth it in exchange for the life of someone I need.
You choose. Drake listen.
Was any of that even real?
Yeah, we got a... Oh, we got the mythical magic thing as well.
Yeah. Last event.
Yeah, and since it was Drake before this one, also pretty high that I know what this one is. You were about to end the day's work early when the guards informed you of an important visitor who has come to see you. So now you're waiting for the guards to let whoever it is in. Hello, Sovereign. I'm not bothering you, I hope. And this was the one I was expecting.
Yeah. That depends on who you are and why you're here.
I'm Ladon Randall, a Voidist priest from Forge. I was one of the options of officiant at your coronation, in case you have forgotten. You have forgotten, because we didn't do the coronation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember you, now that you mention it. What can I help you with?
I have heard quite a bit about your feats. That's only natural, considering how close Mistwinter Bay is to Forge. I always keep an eye on rulers who show any type of support for a Voidist's fate. Considering how rare that support is, I have been quite intrigued by you. You have done a few things in support of Voidism, after all. I don't know if that support has been purely political, or if you feel any connection to Voidism, nor do I know if you're interested in a particular type of Voidism, like the Iscorian or Jatan ones. But in all honesty, it doesn't matter why you show support. The important thing is that you show it. As you can imagine, I am very interested in working together with sovereigns who help Voidists, hence my visit today.
What would working together entail?
Nothing much on your end, actually. All you have to do is keeping kind to Voidists and support the faith in general. It would mean that you would have to officially declare Mistwinter Bay Voidist, but not more than that. As compensation, the organized Voidist church that I am a part of, alongside some other communities in Straina and Meblia, will double the seasonal gift you receive from the Voidist building in town.
And what is this organization of yours? As far as I know, there aren't any organized Voidist faiths.
There weren't any before we showed up. We are of course very new, and in truth there is little keeping us organized other than shared finances. It is a lot easier for Voidist communities to earn money and stay afloat if they can get help from each other, from other like-minded communities. However, we hope that one day we may grow to rival the Avalaris Church in size and influence. We don't want people to feel like the Avalaris Church is the only option when it likes to look down on those who seek freedom and who live somewhat unconventional lives.
It doesn't sound that bad when you put it like that. But are there really no downsides to officially supporting Voidism, no obligations or requirements?
Nothing of the sort. You'll only benefit from it, I'd say, through the increased seasonal gift. Although I'm pretty sure that most, if not all, of Avalaris will get quite upset with you. There is an expectation for a town like Mistwinter Bay to be a Avalarist after all, even though it has the right to be religiously impartial. There isn't more than that to it. As such, I will leave it up to you to decide if you want to officially support Voidism or not. And I want to make the executive decision and say we do it, because I mean it's the last thing, and
yeah, I became a one anyway.
Yeah.
It would be an honor to join forces with you by making Mistwinter Bay an officially Voidist town.
Wonderful! You have no idea how happy this makes me, Sovereign. I know. Oh, the Sevan character loved us for that.
Yeah.
Wonderful! You have no idea how happy this makes me, Sovereign. I know that all other Voidists will be equally happy. So rare to have this sort of support, so I know they'll be thrilled to hear about it. But like I said, Valoris won't like this.
Then so be it. I won't change my opinion just because they're upset.
Well said, Sovereign. So what do you say? Should we have a quick little sermon and officially declare Mistwinter Bay voidist?
Sounds good.
It's surprisingly easy to gather an audience to witness the ceremony that the voidist priest quickly puts together in the throne room. As hundreds of eyes look at you, you kneel in front of the priest. Before the eyes of the people of Mistwinter Bay and the calming cold eternity of the void, the priest says, I hereby bless Sovereign Swordlake of the Entertainment family in the grace of the void. With an entertainment on the throne, Mistwinter Bay is sure to see stability only obtainable under the watchful eyes of the everlasting void. With voidism in the heart of Mistwinter Bay, there will be nothing the people cannot overcome. No matter the hardship, you will come out stronger on the other end. Please, Sovereign, stand up and address your people, the priest says as he takes a few steps back. You stand up and turn to the audience. With a loud, determined voice, you say,
Today I declare that Mistwinter Bay is officially voidist. There is no need for any non-voidists to change their way of life, but let it be known that official services will favor voidist themes and the local voidist church will have more influence over daily life via greater freedom in its charities. I am proud to be the sovereign who finally embraces a religion that other sovereigns have been too cowardly to embrace. But we all know that voidism is not harmful. It is only a way to look at the world and life itself through the lens of freedom and harmless chaos. Today we are but admitting that truth to ourselves. With that, I usher a new era of voidist prosperity.
You say. You bow lightly towards the audience and then the priest. Applause fills the air. The priest blesses the entire building and the town in the void's name. Then you and the priest, along with important nobility, head to the dining hall for a feast. Wow, we got another achievement.
And the banner is there in the background.
Yeah, we got a banner at the top of the throne to represent us being officially voidist. And if we had officially supported alchemy or magic, we would have gotten banners for that too, but we didn't.
Yeah. So here we are, kiddo, 5 years after your coronation.
We are so incredibly proud of you, Swordlake. Despite many ups and downs during your time in power, you made it through everything in one piece, and your people did as well.
Yep, it's been a wild ride and it's far from over. As a matter of fact, this is just the beginning. You'll have even more power and influence after today, and Mistwinter Bay can stretch his wings even further.
True as that is, we have a big important ceremony today that we should focus on. It is just like 5 years ago. However, that ceremony was more important to you as a person. This one is monumental for Mistwinter Bay. We will be granted a recognition of independence like never before. I would never have dreamt of such a thing before you were on the throne, but you have managed to surpass everyone's expectations.
Except maybe one person's.
Oh yes, you're absolutely right. I had almost forgotten. Here, Swordlake, it is the last letter your father ever wrote. He told us to give it to you on the 5-year anniversary of your coronation.
We suspect he had some clues or estimates about what was going to happen during your reign, but we can't know for sure. We haven't read the letter. It's all yours, kiddo.
My dear sweet child. The thought of this being my very last letter to you, our very last contact, breaks my heart. Still, I am happy and immensely proud. I know that on the day you are reading this, 5 years after your coronation, something big is happening. Empress Ophelia has long made me suspect that Mistwinter Bay is next in line to become a city-state. If that is the case, you will now have passed the 5-year mark of your trial period, rendering Mistwinter Bay a fully fledged city-state. However, knowing you, my dear child, I understand that things may not be that straightforward. You may have taken a completely different path, parting ways with the Empress and the Empire altogether, which I commend you for if that is the case, for you must have had good reasons to do so. Even if that is the case, I know you are facing great things today. A great ceremony, be it with Empress Ophelia or another great figure of Ruminus, or all alone. It is a day to be celebrated and remembered for centuries to come. Regardless of what lies ahead of you today, face it with pride and a sense of great accomplishment. You, my dear child, did something I could never, neither could our ancestors. That is why you will attend that ceremony today instead of anyone before you. We may have laid a foundation for your work, but you built on it using only your wit and strength. I do not think any father of Ruminus or even Sephra has been as proud of their child as I am of you today. Stay strong and go show the world what you and Mistwinter Bay are made of. With eternal love, your loving father, Sovereign Howard Entertainment. Tears cloud your vision for a moment, yet they are primarily tears of joy and pride rather than sorrow. Your father always had a card up his sleeve, so you aren't surprised to find out that he made a correct assumption about the future. You swear that you will continue making him and your people proud.
Are we right when assuming he guessed what was going on today? Yes.
Oh, Howard, I miss him still. But we should not dwell on loss today, it is a day of celebration. Besides, we have a ceremony that will begin in just an hour. We had better prepare for it, or our dear officiant will be quite upset seeing the throne room in this state in spite of all the planning.
Hold on a moment, I just want to check something quickly. How do you feel, kiddo? Nervous? Just happy and excited?
The last randomization.
Number 1.
You're nervous. So nervous.
I'm nervous, but I'll make do.
It truly is something to be nervous for. We are all nervous, but we have made it through such situations before, so we will get through this one as well.
Well, we better get a move on. We can't look like slobs with all the guests coming here to witness the ceremony.
Indeed, let us get changed and get back here to greet everyone in a moment. As your advisors leave, you are completely alone in the throne room, a rare circumstance but a welcome one this time. Now you have a perfect opportunity to take in the calm air and reflect on what has happened in this room and all over Mistwinter Bay during your 5-year reign. You have faced many good and bad things during your time as sovereign. Some serious hardships mixed together with light-hearted drama and even goofy shenanigans have made up important parts of the past years. At some points you even doubted that you were going to be here after 5 years.
Yeah.
And that some of our people were going to be here
Yeah.
too. Yet here you are, healthy and well, ready to bring Mistwinter Bay into a new era which it has never been close to before. This type of independence would have been a dream for the locals and your ancestors a couple of centuries, even just decades ago. It is with great pride and joy that you mantle the role of the sovereign who will bring Mistwinter Bay into a new future. Mistwinter Bay is in a festive mood, as festive as it ever could be. Moments before the ceremony begins, you take some time to look out over the town and the people that are yours. The streets are alive with celebration, market stalls selling souvenirs and festive sweets surround dancing townsfolk waving white and purple flags. Rows of streamers in the same colors run between houses, swaying in the surprisingly warm, gentle breeze rolling in from the sea. It is slightly hard to understand that everything has been your responsibility for 5 whole years now. 5 years as a sovereign, 5 years on your own. It feels like ages ago that you got the letter telling you about your father's death, but at the same time it feels like yesterday. Your coronation day was a joyous enough celebration, but it can't top this. It's something with a historical importance at this moment that can't be beaten. You are immensely proud and a bit nervous to be the face, the name to put into history books to represent this monumental occasion. You take one last look at the town, one last deep breath, before turning around and joining the guests present for the ceremony. I think before we continue reading, we should just look at what our reputation is with everyone. Because the Valorists aren't very happy with us anymore.
100. 100.
Yeah, because Seva and Gad love us now because of...
She must have had like plus 50 because she gets negative 75.
Yeah, she must have liked us a lot. No, she doesn't. Oh, she
100.
loves us.
50.
Yeah, the Voidists love us now. The Valorists, not so much.
Oh, that was
we dodged a bullet.
that was
That
dangerous. Oh, that
She
one too.
too.
Oh, we would have been really screwed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she does not like
Yeah, good thing it's over, huh?
Yeah. In the throne room, you're seated on the throne in front of hundreds of guests. Some foreign leaders are here, as are your most important subjects, including your advisors. Slightly in front of you, turned to the guest, stands none other than Empress Ophelia Savarez of the Empire of Strana. She's dressed in a dress so extravagant that you can hardly believe it is real. She seems surprisingly proud in this moment. Along with Ophelia are several bedazzled guards stationed along the long purple carpet holding Stranian banners, but every other one holds the banner of Mistwinter Bay, not a regular banner, but a special one with a new coat of arms embroidered upon it. The entire room is fitted with new temporary decorations in honor of this special occasion, sparkling mermaid scales, gold pieces looking like Mistwinter wheat stalks, and loads of purples and whites. There are a few shields bearing the Stranian coat of arms on the walls as well. But the most impressive shield of all is the one Ophelia is holding. It bears Mistwinter Bay's and therefore also your family's new coat of arms. It has been updated to represent Mistwinter Bay being a city-state while still maintaining the spirit of the original design. My beloved subjects and guests, Ophelia's voice echoes through the throne room. Today is a historic day not only for Strana but Mistwinter Bay and Ruminus as a whole, because today Mistwinter Bay joins the ranks of Stranian city-states thanks to Sovereign Swordlake Entertainment's excellent governing. Mistwinter Bay has been a crucial part of the Empire's history, providing important financial and scientific aid in good times as well as bad, and that is without mentioning the agricultural importance it has always held. All of this has led to Mistwinter Bay becoming a pillar of the Empire, but also an independent force. After these 5 years of trial, it is clear to see that Mistwinter Bay can provide glory to its own people as well as all of Strana. Even other parts of Ruminus have seen benefits from Mistwinter Bay's increased influence. Well, not Uhtred. Ulrich doesn't like us. But these 5 years are behind us now, only marking the beginning of the greatness that awaits now that Mistwinter Bay becomes a fully fledged city-state. None of this would have been possible without the leadership of Sovereign Swordlake Entertainment, so let us hear this pillar of guidance speak a few words. Ophelia gestures towards you. With a lump of nerves itching in your throat, you stand up and bow slightly. For comfort, you briefly seek eye contact with Jack and Sophia, who are standing on the sidelines with tears of pride in their eyes.
It has been my utmost honor to take over where my late father left off.
You start. After a brief pause, your confidence grows, making you carry the words better.
Mistwinter Bay is not an easy place to rule. No place is. During these 5 years I have faced hardships aplenty.
A smile crosses your lips as you continue.
But it hasn't always been difficult. I have had some great times on this throne, in this room, in this lovely town that I call home. Some great things have happened in Mistwinter Bay under my rule, but I shouldn't take all the credit for it. I have my 2 trusted advisors, Jack Barr and Sophia Wisp, to thank for countless wise words.
Now Jack is bawling like a child.
Like Jack. He's bawling like a child. But most important of all, I have the best subjects I could possibly have hoped for. Some have been here all along, some have... It's only Cecil that's...
Yeah.
Some have moved in just recently, but they all share the same love for Mistwinter Bay. The people are the foundation of Mistwinter Bay. We, are what brings progress, for we have the will and the means. I would like to thank everyone who has supported me and who have helped Mistwinter Bay get to where it is now. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Your words ring out as you take a light bow before sitting down again. The throne room is instantly filled with cheers and applause. A light blush warms your cheeks. Ophelia faces you, shield turned towards you, and smiles widely. She raises the shield above her head. Our Master Averil, please bless Mistwinter Bay for now and forever, she says with a powerful voice. Even though we're voidists!
Yeah.
But she is very much not a voidist. She then lowers the shield again, handing it over to you. The heavy piece of art, for it was never meant for battle, feels burning in your hands. Everything has led up to this one moment. This marks the official end of Mistwinter Bay as a Stranian town and the beginning of Mistwinter Bay as a Stranian city-state. Ophelia has barely finished the sentence before the throne room explodes with cheers and applause. Many of the guests stand up and clap their hands eagerly. Tears cloud your vision. Your heart is so full of love and pride it feels like it will explode. This is all you could have ever hoped for and more. This is what everything you have ever done has led up to. This is the beginning of everything. It is also a happy ending. The end. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was thinking for the endings we do the long events and not the character endings, since we haven't really interacted with the characters.
Guess.
Yeah, because there are a lot of what happens next. Yeah, as we can see. But time moves on. So what has happened to everyone? What has happened after we made a bunch of mistakes? Thanks to the initial exploration of the ancient tunnels on the Mistwinter Bay that you ordered, the ruins were not only secured to prevent the devastating collapse, but also provided crucial information about Mistwinter Bay's history. Even during our lifetime, brave explorers accompanied scholars down to the bottom of the ruins and the inner chamber at its center. Even though a lot of the magic in the chamber stones is still not fully understood to this day, the first scholars managed to get a start on knowledge that is now common in Mistwinter Bay. The ruins were originally built as a temple to honor Averall, all but confirming the existence of the god. However, the temple was not only meant for him. There was another god at his side, bearing a name starting with the letter L. Oh my god. More than that, the ruins have refused to say, so the identity of this second god still evades modern researchers and will evade even more in the future. But we know who he is. The surprising influx of Taurums that suddenly attacked the Ruminous during your reign made it all the way into the history books. The event is called one of the worst tragedies in Romanian history. Hardly surprising given how many people died during the course of only a few months. Mistwinter Bay was but one name in the long list of towns affected by the Taurums. It didn't see as many deaths as other places, but was still heavily affected. That may not have been enough to give it a big spot in the history books, but it was enough to make your people look at you with great disdain. For many years after the incident, people speculated that you hated the lower class.
Wow.
Some people harbored those suspicions way after your death. Only you know if you deliberately let the lower class take a blow so that you could save resources or if it was all an accident. Regardless, the end result was the same. People died and you were blamed for it.
It was all up to chance.
Yeah. The interactions between you and the Nagil Sasi didn't mean much in the long run. After she left Mistwinter Bay, you never saw Sasi again. No other Nagil of the Aosisi tribe, or any other for that matter, ever approached Mistwinter Bay either. To both humans and Nagili, it was as if your interactions with Sasi never occurred at all. The weeks during his childhood, when Georgie spoke backwards due to a curse put on him by fairies, spooked him to his core. He never dared to sleep with his window open, even as an adult, and as soon as someone mentioned fairies, he flinched. Despite that, Georgie travelled across Ruminous, informing people, especially children, about the dangers of fairies. By using himself and his childhood friend Ellie as an example, he made it very clear that the dangers of interacting with fairies far outweigh the benefits. Georgie's warnings hit the mark. Children kept their windows closed at night. When parents told bedtime stories about fairies, it was always the negative kind, portraying fairies as cruel creatures that should never be trusted. Eventually, when generations had passed, even the slightest positive opinion of fairies had been eradicated in all Romanian countries. Not that the fairies seemed to mind, they had learned to stick to themselves as soon as Georgie's speeches had begun. Silly children weren't worth the effort in their eyes. And now we have reached the character endings, which means we'll see you in a while. Yeah, so we're back now after all the character endings, so... All of these things are connected to one simple fact. That you, at 25 years old, took over your late father's throne and began ruling Mistwinter Bay. That eventually led you to Mistwinter Bay passing Empress Ophelia's trial period and becoming a city-state. That in turn led to improved trade and diplomatic relationships between Mistwinter Bay and foreign countries as well as Straina itself. Currently, Mistwinter Bay's and Straina's relationship is so strong that Straina has given Mistwinter Bay more financial aid in the shape of gifts than to any other city-state. In turn, Mistwinter Bay has been the Empire's biggest provider of food and military aid for generations now. Thanks to its independence but also cooperation with Straina, Mistwinter Bay keeps getting stronger every year, now reaching a height of prosperity that no other city-state has ever gotten close to. Straina has almost benefited as much from the independence, which has resulted in Mistwinter Bay's sovereigns long having been advisors to the imperial royalty. This ensured your place in Strainian history books, where you are credited partly as the first sovereign of the city-state, partly as a great ruler and friend of the Empire. Now, as the current sovereign of Mistwinter Bay looks upon the coat of arms, one name pops into their mind. Swordlake Entertainment. And
as it should for everyone.
Because no other ruler prior to your reign or after has been as synonymous with Mistwinter Bay as you. And for that, you will be remembered. Forever. Wow, now we reached the credits.
Well, the end.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a long playthrough, I assume, and we didn't even do any character stories, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would assume that most people who watched this far have already played the game themselves, or something like that.
Or are
so,
very interested.
yeah, so you probably already know that there's a lot of content in the characters, like a lot. We did 2 hangouts.
Yeah, one of them we just skipped through.
Yeah, just to get a character meetup and things like that. So there is so much content, and just if we think about the one we did, the long event we did now with the tunnels and stuff, just that one has so many different ways to go about it, because we could fail in every step of the process when we were down in the tunnels, and could potentially have been saved by some of the other characters who were there, like Kieran saved Moira because he had the right stats and skills to help her. But if we had had other characters, they might have succeeded and gotten a different ending and things like that. And that was only during the tunnel exploration. There were multiple other ways to go about that entire event. So clearly there is so much content in this game. So much content that not even we who have made the game can really comprehend how much there actually is.
Yeah.
Because now with the final content update and things where we added more events, for example the fairies event that we did recently, and we're up to like 1.7, 1.8 million words or something like that. So obviously we will encounter some spelling mistakes like we have done, because we are just two people. We can't like spell check everything perfectly. That's unrealistic.
And it's all written by us.
Yeah, we have written everything. I have written most things, like most main events, most of the characters. You can list the characters that you wrote.
Gale, Doug, Amelie, Yamileth, Eugene. Is that all?
Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, and I've written all of the other characters. And the vast majority of all of the events, and like the main story and everything. So yeah, it's a lot for 2 people to have made.
Yeah, that's why it took so many years to make it.
Yeah, so there will be a lot of content in this game, and like many things to explore, because like we said, when we encountered the Rake, most people have not encountered him when you look at the Steam statistics.
Yeah.
So and if we hadn't encountered him, we would have encountered a Pegasus instead, and a lot of people on Steam have encountered a Pegasus.
Because they play as good people.
Yeah, they tend to do nice things. But yeah, now we can look at the statistics and see what we actually did by playing randomly. No spouse and no child. Yeah, we haven't even gotten close to experiencing the child content and all the spouse content and everything like that. The excessive builder, since we built everything, it is more fun to have the opponent of urban expansion, or whatever it's called, which means you build nothing during the entire playthrough.
Yeah, I think I've done that. Pretty fun. No allies. 1 siege against bandits. Bandits. Void is
supported a Valerism 2 times and Voidism 5 times. Well, it's 1 time per upgrade, and then we also built the Voidist statue thing, and then something else.
Isn't it first when you swap it out too?
Maybe. That might be it.
Supported magic 1 time, alchemy 2 times. Did we have Anglia or Om?
We had Anglia, we had the alchemist laboratory.
Was she there all along? I just didn't see.
Yeah.
15, 16 times. That feels kind of long. Cecil Varfeymore.
Yeah, most used 2 times is not much.
Yeah.
Second most used sound for several, and it's just 1 time. Yeah, because it says several, because there are too many names to list. Items in collection 6, not too bad.
Total death 6.
Oh, that's a lot.
It has nothing against my 200 something.
Yeah, but that was a bug. There was a bug that added too many dead people. And it's pretty funny how 3 of those dead characters are townsfolk.
Yeah.
On all the deaths. So in other words, someone died because of us somehow that wasn't a townsperson and who we didn't actively execute. And I do not remember who that was because it's been a long time between episodes. So.
Does the Lavas Rock thing count?
Maybe. Actually, it could be. Townsfolk exiled or moved out. 3 people?
Dawn.
Yeah.
Yamileth.
You're right. That's why we didn't remember Engla. We stole her to the fashion design.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't see her.
Yeah. And then she didn't get an ending. We were skipping through the endings for us anyway, but she didn't show up in the endings because it wouldn't make sense for her to get an ending when it was such a specific thing she got moved out for. So that's why we completely forgot about her. And laws created or changed one, and it was the divorce law.
Generally
it's like that.
Understandable.
I would think that that's a pretty rare thing to get. And still, basically, you see no detestful or uninterested characters.
Yeah.
And like
3 hangouts.
We did 1, maybe 2 negative reputation events, which isn't a lot at all considering how much people disliked us, but it was like we got also a very big bump at the very end by converting to voidism.
Yeah.
So if we had actually had that earlier on and we had done that, we would probably have seen a lot more of that.
Yeah, no couples either.
Yeah, no couples. Says the builder. Total events completed 58 monthly events and character events. That isn't the same number.
No.
Well, maybe it counted. Oh yeah, it probably counted like the statue thing.
Maybe.
That's maybe not a monthly event or something like that.
Yeah, 111 important choices and 13 flavor choices.
The Red Mystic saying we did a few good deeds means 1.
No bad deeds.
It's pretty impressive considering how much we randomized things.
Yeah.
Buildings built 18s and upgraded 6. Statue of the Void. Population. Yeah, we lost some people because
they got poisoned.
Yeah. Total gold. Yeah, we spent most of our resources.
Yeah.
Basically nothing left. But it's kept pretty consistent at least. It's just the gold that shrunk because we had like guard prisons and stuff like that. And people dying and moving out. So
that's it.
So yeah, that was our developer playthrough of Mistwinter Bay.
Yeah.
Don't know how many episodes or how many hours of videos or anything, or even when we uploaded the first episode, because yeah, like I said
so long.
In the episode before this, we have been quite busy lately to start working on our next game. So if you're interested to learn more about that, we suggest that you subscribe to us here on YouTube, because at some point we will post something, even if it's just a trailer or something like that. Or you can follow us on any of our other social media pages, which you can find in the description. Yeah, we can't say anything other than thank you for watching, and we hope that you have appreciated this playthrough, and if you haven't played the game already, then give it a try. And if you have played it already, hopefully this has made you understand a bit better just how much content actually is in this game.
Yeah,
because there is
many hours
a
of
lot,
gameplay.
a lot. So yeah, but other than that, we thank you for watching and hope to see you regarding
sometime.
something else.
Yeah.
So bye for now.
Bye.